Welcome to Watch-Worthy Shows. Today we're going to talk about those hidden gems on Netflix that you probably haven't seen but should. Movies with stories that hook you, performances that surprise you, and moments that stay with you long after the credits roll. From smart science fiction to heart-wrenching dramas, this is the top 10 underrated movies that deserve your attention. But before we start the video, it would really help me out if you could take a moment to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your kind support. Number 10. I Am Mother. Imagine growing up completely alone in an underground bunker, raised by a robot that tells you you're humanity's only hope. That's the life of Daughter, a teenager who has never seen another human being. Mother, her robotic caretaker, has taught her everything from ethics to science, preparing her to repopulate Earth after an extinction event. Everything seems to be going according to plan until a stranger shows up at the door asking for help. The movie works because it keeps you guessing the whole time. Does Mother really want what's best for humanity, or does she have her own plans? Is the stranger telling the truth or manipulating Daughter? Clara Rugaard does excellent work as the protagonist trapped between two versions of reality, and Hilary Swank gives her character layers of ambiguity. What doesn't quite work is the pacing in some moments of the second act, where the tension drops a bit before the climax. But the ending leaves you thinking long after the credits roll. If you like science fiction movies that make you question what it means to be human, this one is totally worth it. Number 9. Polar. Duncan Visla is a hitman about to retire. After years of dirty jobs, he just wants peace and quiet in a cabin away from the world. But his employer has other plans. Instead of paying his pension, he decides it's cheaper to eliminate him. Now Duncan has to use all the skills that made him legendary to survive. Mads Mikkelsen is perfect in the role of the tired but lethal assassin. The guy has a screen presence that makes every scene work, even when the script falters. And it falters quite a bit. The movie is based on a comic book, and it shows. The villains are cartoonish, the violence is exaggerated to the point of absurdity, and the tone jumps between serious drama and dark comedy without much coherence. The problem is that Polar wants to be John Wick, but doesn't have the choreographed elegance of that franchise. The action scenes are brutal and entertaining, but the rest of the movie feels uneven. If you're looking for straightforward action and you like Mikkelsen, you'll enjoy it. If you expect something deeper, you'll probably be disappointed. Number 8. White Noise. Jack Gladney is a professor of Hitler studies at an American university. He lives with his wife Babette and a house full of children from previous marriages. Everything seems normal until a chemical accident releases a toxic cloud over their town, forcing a mass evacuation. Suddenly, the conversations about death that Jack avoided become very real. Noah Baumbach adapts Don DeLillo's novel, considered unfilmable, and the truth is that the effort shows. The film captures that absurd and satirical tone of the book, mixing existential comedy with moments of genuine terror. Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig are excellent as the couple obsessed with their own mortality. Where it falters is in the pacing. 2 hours and 15 minutes is a lot for a movie that's basically people talking about the fear of dying. There are brilliant moments, especially during the evacuation, but also sections that feel unnecessarily long. It's a film for a very specific audience. If you like auteur cinema that makes you think, go ahead. If you're looking for light entertainment, better look elsewhere. Number 7. Velvet Buzzsaw. The Los Angeles art world is full of inflated egos, obscene money, and limitless pretension. When a collection of disturbing paintings mysteriously appears, everyone wants a piece. Gallerists, collectors, critics. The problem is that the paintings seem to have a life of their own, and they start killing those who try to profit from them. Dan Gilroy, the director of Nightcrawler, works again with Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays an art critic as arrogant as he is insufferable. The film works better as a satire of the art world than as a horror movie. The murders are creative but predictable, and the tension never reaches genuinely frightening levels. The good thing is that Gilroy has interesting things to say about the commercialization of art and the hypocrisy of those who consume it. The bad thing is that the message becomes repetitive after the first hour. Velvet Buzzsaw is entertaining and visually striking, but it falls halfway between smart satire and effective horror. It's worth it if you're interested in the subject, but don't expect a masterpiece. Number 6. Calibre. Two friends from the city travel to the Scottish Highlands for a hunting weekend. Everything seems perfect until a terrible accident happens in the forest. A shot that shouldn't have been taken. A decision that can't be undone. Now they have to deal with the consequences in a small town where everyone knows each other and secrets don't last long. Calibre is one of those thrillers that keeps you uncomfortable throughout the entire film. There are no jump scares or monsters, just the constant tension of knowing these guys made the worst possible decision and now have to live with it. The performances by Jack Lowden and Martin McCann are excellent, conveying paranoia and fear in a believable way. The problem is that if you know the genre, you'll anticipate several twists. The film follows a familiar rural thriller structure where outsiders end up in trouble with the locals. But the execution is so solid that it compensates for the lack of originality. It's tense, well acted, and leaves you thinking about moral decisions long after it ends. Number 5. The Discovery. Imagine that a scientist scientifically proves that there is life after death. It sounds like good news, but it has devastating consequences. Millions of people decide to commit suicide to get to that other place. In this world, Will, the son of the scientist responsible, meets Isla, a mysterious woman with a painful past. Robert Redford plays the scientist with the gravity the role requires, while Jason Segel and Rooney Mara carry the emotional weight of the story. The premise is fascinating, and the questions it raises about death, faith, and the consequences of certainty are genuinely interesting. Where the film stumbles is in the third act. Without spoilers, the final twist divides opinions. Some find it brilliant, others feel it betrays everything the film built before. The pacing can also feel slow if you're not in tune with its contemplative tone, but if you like science fiction films that prioritize ideas over action, The Discovery deserves your attention. Number 4. Private Life. Rachel and Richard are a New York couple who have been trying to have a child for years. They've tried everything: in vitro fertilization, egg donors, adoption. Each failed attempt brings them closer to the emotional and financial edge. When their niece Sadie offers to donate her eggs, family dynamics become even more complicated. Kathryn Hahn and Paul Giamatti are incredible as the lead couple. Hahn especially conveys all the frustration, hope, and exhaustion of someone who has been on this emotional roller coaster for too long. Director Tamara Jenkins doesn't romanticize the process or turn it into cheap melodrama. What makes Private Life special is its brutal honesty. It shows how difficult, expensive, and emotionally devastating the fertility process can be without offering easy answers. The humor is present but never feels out of place. It's a film that makes you laugh and cry, sometimes in the same scene. If the topic touches you personally, prepare for an intense experience. Number 3. Cargo. Australia has been devastated by an epidemic that turns people into violent creatures. Andy travels through the country's interior with his wife and baby, seeking safety. When his wife is infected, Andy has 48 hours before he becomes one too. His only mission: find someone to take care of his daughter before it's too late. Martin Freeman carries the entire film on his shoulders and does it brilliantly. His portrayal of the desperate father is heartbreaking without falling into sentimentalism. Directors Ben Howling and Yolanda Ramke expand their original short film with a surprising approach. Instead of focusing on the horror of the infected, they explore a father's love for his daughter. The problem is that if you expect constant action, you're going to be disappointed. Cargo is slow and contemplative, more interested in quiet moments than in chases. But that calm makes the tense moments more effective. It's a zombie movie for people who don't necessarily want to see zombies, and that makes it special. Number 2. Okja. Miha is a Korean girl who lives in the mountains with her grandfather and her best friend, Okja, a giant creature resembling a hippo pig that was genetically created by a multinational corporation. When the company comes to claim Okja to take her to New York, Mija will do whatever it takes to rescue her. Bong Joon-ho, the director of Parasite, mixes genres with his characteristic mastery. Okja is simultaneously a family adventure, a biting corporate satire, and a devastating critique of the food industry. Hilda Swinton and Jake Gyllenhaal are deliciously over the top as the villains, while young An Se-Yun carries the heart of the film. What makes Okja unforgettable is how it makes you love this digital creature as if it were real. When things get dark, and they get very dark, the emotional impact is genuine. It's not a perfect film. Some comedic moments don't land well and the tone shifts abruptly, but it's ambitious, original, and it'll make you think twice before eating a sausage. Number 1. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. William Kamkwamba is 13 years old and lives in a rural village in Malawi. His family are farmers who depend on the harvest to survive, but when floods destroy everything and famine arrives, things get desperate. To make matters worse, they can no longer afford William's school. But this boy has something special, a curious mind that doesn't take no for an answer. Using an old textbook from a library and scrap parts, including his father's bicycle, William builds a windmill to pump water and save his village. It sounds like a fairy tale, but it's a true story. Chiwetel Ejiofor not only acts as William's father, but also writes and directs the film in his directorial debut. If it occupies first place, it's because it achieves something difficult, telling an inspiring story without falling into cliches or cheap sentimentalism. It doesn't romanticize poverty or present external saviors. It's an African story told from Africa, with authentic performances and cinematography that transports you to that world. Maxwell Simba as William is a discovery. The only but is that the pacing can feel slow at times. But the ending leaves you with a lump in your throat and a desire to believe that education and creativity can change the world. And so we close this journey through Netflix movies that deserve more love than they get. Each one has something special to offer, whether it's an original premise, memorable performances, or simply a well-told story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe, and hit the bell to not miss our upcoming content. Tell me in the comments which of these movies you've already seen and which one you're going to add to your list. See you in the next video.